The Broken Agenda Podcast. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It nips me in the boo-boo every time. It never ends well. All right, so we're at, today we hit, just, I don't know when this episode's going to drop, but today we hit 63,000 on Bitcoin, which matched basically its all-time highs. And right now it's at, what, 60,000? Something like that, right? So, Jimmy, we were talking about, sorry, and we did a lot of this for everybody watching or listening or whatever your format is. We did a lot of this off camera, and I apologize because we covered a lot of topics here before we started recording. But Jimmy and I are having a spirited discussion about the future of Bitcoin. And I don't know how much you're willing to get into this. My opinion is that we are definitely going to be rising up somewhere into the high 80s, into the 90s before we have a major correction. I think $100,000 Bitcoin is still 100% a prediction of mine, but I think we've got a correction somewhere coming before we get there. And then Jimmy was going through his prediction on the numbers, but you're saying that your research shows you long term, not short term, $240,000 is where you think it's headed?
It's my ladder. I mean,
that's all right. You can talk about it. Do not take financial advice from us. We've said this before. We're idiots. But you're saying that according to the research tools that you use for your investing, $240,000 is a very realistic number.
I think that's where it's going. Now it could power through that. I mean, when it does get there, like it can go 34. And the reason I say
which would be 340,000.
Yeah, 340,000. So like Bitcoin powered through the first cycle. Like typically,
you're talking about when it topped out at 20,000?
No, it's 60 when it went to 65.
Second cycle.
Typically, that run will only go to like 44.
Okay,
so that already powered through. Like what I find, crypto runs like 15 to 20 runs on the ladder.
Yeah.
As opposed to like in stocks, it's like 12 to 15. So crypto seems to have this extra a little bit of momentum that goes along with it. So that being said, like
what do you think causes that? Do you think it's just that people get amped up? They see the rise, they see the...
I'm not quite sure.
Is it psychological? What do you think?
I don't know.
Because there's definitely
it's the
huge
mindset of the people that are in it right now. You know, it's a much more aggressive type posture. I think that the people are taking.
I would agree with that. All the guys I know that are heavy in it, like me, are all entrepreneurs. They're all super aggressive.
And I mean, it's a movement, and so there's a lot more behind it than just like a investment mindset. It's really like it's almost like a cult of some sort, right? If you could say.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not. I don't think Bitcoin's as culty as the altcoins, because I think Bitcoin's gone a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
But you're definitely right. I mean, some of these altcoins, I can't even talk to these guys.
I mean, it all starts as a cult. Bitcoin was a cult at one point.
It was. Agreed.
Well before it was mainstream.
And then it was ETH.
And then ETH, yeah.
Which, man, I'm glad I held on to all my ETH. That's going bananas right now.
Is it?
What's Ethereum at?
ETH is about 3,300, right?
That's relatively stable, though, isn't it?
No, it's been hovering around 1,000 to 1,200
for the last couple of years. It hasn't moved very slow, but it's time coming.
Yeah, well, it follows Bitcoin.
Does it?
Yeah, it peaked out at like 4,400
okay.
when Bitcoin peaked out at like 68,000 or whatever, and then Bitcoin dropped to like 15,000, and Ethereum dropped to what, like 1,000?
900.
900, yeah.
Remember when I was telling you about the ladder, how typically that 44 is the top?
Yeah, and you called that one almost exactly. Right? Yes, you called that one almost exactly. So it's pretty much tracked Bitcoin. I think it dropped a little bit more than Bitcoin percentage-wise.
Is that 44 its top?
4,400 is its top.
Its top.
Now, Bitcoin's at its historical top now.
Right.
ETH has not recovered its historical top. So I think ETH has more run in it. But it follows Bitcoin. It really does. It just kind of all tracks.
I guess I got a lot.
So, all right. So obviously we're talking about cryptocurrency today. And we've got, Jimmy's trying to get into his research account. But Jimmy has put together, for anybody out there, and when we put the description of this episode together, this is This is insider information on crypto. So I am a Bitcoin, Ethereum investor type crypto guy. Tyler's more of a kind of a play around with crypto guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy is a legit crypto research guy. Like, this is what he does. He researches altcoins. Go ahead.
Rain Man.
He's counting toothpicks out of the box. You throw them on the floor, and he's got it right. He loves Wapner. And he's bringing his research to the show this week so that we can kind of see if you care about crypto, what you should be looking at. All these different altcoins, all these different cryptocurrency. I can't keep up with them. I don't.
There's too many.
There is.
It feels so oversaturated at this point. I don't know what to pick or what to follow long enough to decide if I want to put money into it.
Did you look at Jimmy's research?
So I couldn't access his research. The Google Sheet, he did not give me access to it.
Yeah, I ran into the same problem.
I requested access, but it wouldn't let me in.
I put you guys both on there.
There was like 20, 15 or 20 coins I think he had listed.
On that agenda or whatever?
Yeah. I think I'd heard of 2.
Solana is the only one I knew.
Solano, and there was one other one where I had heard of it in passing, but I didn't really know what it was. So he's...
I'm not trying to sign
Are we going to have to cancel the show?
You're trying. What are you trying to sign in with? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You were signing in with Google.
What a mess.
Well,
right,
I use, I don't have.
Just focus.
I don't have my.
It's okay. It's okay. We've got a show. People are listening, theoretically.
ADD episode.
Now, I don't know. Like, the real question here is, I trust Jimmy. I've seen him be right on this stuff more times than I can count. And the fact that he refuses to give advice makes me trust him even more, whether that's...
Yeah. I've listened to Jimmy on a couple things, and at first it went bad, and then it went very well.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He burned me to all get out on Cardano. But other than that, he's been pretty spot on.
I put money into Solano.
It's kind of nice that it's on his list.
Yeah, right before FTX, and then FTX happened, and it bottomed out, but now it's looking pretty.
So Solana is a good project.
I'm waiting for it to go down a little bit more to buy.
All right, so you say Solana is a good project. What is Solana? What makes it a good project?
Well, okay, so it's the layer ones, right? So like Bitcoin is a layer 1, Ethereum is a layer 1. So Bitcoin was the test to see could digital currency work, right? The blockchain, is this technology possible? So once it was verified that it was, then ETH came out, right? So now ETH was like, well, if you can change money on blockchain, can you exchange services? So the ETH blockchain is more about, you have all these altcoins and tokens, but really it's more about conducting business. It's contracts and things like that are being recorded through.
Is that more recent for ETH? Didn't it
usually
come out just as a cash?
No, because all the NFTs and...
that's what I mean. It's that since they did their...
It's all contractual, so the whole idea about it was that, like, can you literally... it's more about can you conduct commerce as opposed to just banking or financial services, right? So then you give birth to, projects like, everybody in essence is building the blockchain, right? They're all working towards trying to make this technology the future, which, I think it's going to be like, I think there's no doubt. A lot of people don't know about it, but
yeah, I agree. There's undoubtedly there's no way to get rid of it at this point.
There's the projects that I picked out today, they're not necessarily projects that I was following or vested in, but they're real world projects now that I think are gonna show you guys where it's coming now. And this is where for me, I don't understand the underlying tech of it all. I do to a little bit of a degree, but that's where I'm hoping you guys can try to shed light on how it works, in the back end. And we may not, but open for discussion, I guess, basically is the kind of this is hard to see.
Well, this is, but why don't you share your screen if you're going to show it? And
Okay.
what are we looking at here? Is this Solano? And for anybody listening, not watching,
we're just going to look at Bitcoin right now. So
okay.
Jimmy, if you want to close that save credentials thing that's there. Yeah.
Okay, so when I was telling you guys about, I guess I don't want to get too involved in all the explanation here, but Dude, that's hard to see out there.
It is, but just go ahead. Like we'll figure it out.
All right, so
Like you're gonna be describing it, so it's just a visual aid. And I don't want you getting too heavy into the numbers
no, I'm not going to.
Okay.
But right here is, can you see that, Tyler? 1200? What is that?
Yeah, it looks like
It's
1,200.
like 1,300.
Okay, so this is gonna be hard to even talk if I can't see the number.
Well, what does that line represent? The bottom line.
So what I wanted to try to show you is why I'm saying the 240 is going to be the.
Okay.
This is 24 down here.
21,
21, yeah.
29, 41, 56.
I guess my vision's going bad.
So, but go ahead. So just go through your description. Don't worry about the board.
All right, so basically, like the whole ladder works in 3 segments.
Well, can you
right?
do me a favor?
So-
Can you explain what's the difference between those 2 lines, just so we know what we're looking at? Because I'm
So-
not sure what you're trying to show us.
Oh, this here was just a wedge that I drew. It was just kind of about it's like
No. The orange line at the top and the candles.
Oh, okay.
Underneath.
So, let me look at something.
That's a great look. It's on camera. Make sure that they can see right up your nose.
This is Eve versus Bitcoin right now, so I can't see like what I'm looking at.
Oh my God, it's such a professional
This is
show.
Eve and Bitcoin up here.
All right, so one's ETH, one's Bitcoin. So I'm assuming the orange is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, so you're talking about. So we're looking at our runs here on ETH below and our runs on Bitcoin above, and then you can see. Okay,
Yeah, but
Makes
I'm going-
sense.
I'm going strictly just to Bitcoin.
okay. So that might help if you don't have it split between 2 different scales.
There we go. There we go.
All right, so now we're looking at Bitcoin.
All right, so look, so like over here, this was the low. This is the third. So when I was saying about how it runs in segments, so the whole dollar ladder from 0 to 100 is broken into 3 parts, right? So you're talking like, break it up like from 0 to like 24, 30.
Now,
30
0 to
is
100, you mean it
30
could
to
be
70.
from 0 to 100,000 or 0 cents to 100 cents.
It could be 0 cents to 34 cents, and then it would be 34 cents to 80 cents, and then 80 cents up through the rest of the way.
Up through $1. Okay,
Now
gotcha.
whether it's 0 to $24, to $70, and then $70 through 100, right? That same it carries across. So
Okay,
anytime
so let's up.
no matter what
Regardless of
the
where the
price.
decimal point is, that theory carries across.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
yeah.
okay.
So the price is gonna come up through to 24. It's gonna come back down and reset at the lowest, which is 4 on the bottom, right? So it's 4, and
Which makes sense. We hit about 22 and it came down to about 3,500.
So here now, like I would have told you right here, this would have been 24. Now it went to 19, but like all my ladders cap out at 19. So like it would be like $1.19, $11.90.
In this case, it was
In this
$19,000.
case, it was 19,000.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah. So now sometimes it's stronger. Like this run wasn't quite as strong. It didn't hit the 24, but then you come back down to 4 and you reset. Now you're going up through the middle of the ladder, which is 50, right? So this is your next run up through the 50 point. Okay. Then you come back down and you're resetting like the fall below 20, which is 17. So you can see this whole thing trends up like every time you get these higher lows, right? So now the rest of the ladder is going to be executed, which is going to go up through 100, right to 119. Then you get your pullback, and then it's going to advance. It's advancing to the next ladder, which it's right now it's on the $100,000 ladder, right? Because like it's like if a stock is selling for cents, it's on the dollar ladder. As soon as it passes the dollar mark, it advances to the $10 ladder. As soon as it passes $100 or $10, it advances to the $100. Right?
Yep.
So right now we're running on the $100,000 ladder, and Bitcoin is going to advance into the $1 million ladder next, right? So that means that's going to
It skips the $10,000 ladder,
um,
and then, or sorry,
No,
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 sorry.
no.
Oh yeah, the $1 million. Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez.
So it's going to advance now to the $1 million ladder, which means it's going to blast up into, so it would be 40,000, 90,000, 140,000, 190,000, 240.
By that mathematical theory, there's no end to this. It should never drop.
Because they don't split it. See, in
Because they don't
stocks,
split
in
it.
the stock market, they split the stock, so that's constantly resetting. So the normal person doesn't pick up.
But wouldn't there be a mathematical cap to this? I mean, once you've increased the value so much that the cost can no longer be justified by the amount of investment, wouldn't there be a theory? Because it's a commodity, right? I mean, at its root, it's really more of a currency, at least Bitcoin is, than anything else. So it's not like there's additional intrinsic value. I mean, it's kind of like trading euros against dollars. At a certain point, you find that equilibrium.
I think
Wouldn't
it would.
you?
I think it would cap out. It has to cap out, right? Because eventually,
But the ladder wouldn't have a solution for that, I guess. It wouldn't know because
I mean, if the value of money continues to grow, and
It would then grow.
inflation, then
It would
then
grow with
that
inflation.
number is just going to continue.
So probably a better look at this would be, how does the ladder affect gold? Because I think once you get through this initial volatility of Bitcoin, it's probably going to track gold a lot closer than anything else as a stable currency hedge, right?
Well, gold probably does the same thing.
It probably does.
Now,
You're right.
so gold is like at what, 2,000, going to 3,000?
Yeah, it's like did it hit 2,100? I don't think it did.
So
Somewhere in the 2000s.
So sometimes you see like certain things don't actually escalate and blow up into the next ladder for some reason. They'll like stay like, I mean, like gold for, there are a couple things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at gold, we could assess how it is, but I still can show you the ladder inside gold, because gold would potentially just operate on, it would be on the $100,000 ladder.
Let me see what
Or the $10,000 ladder.
So I'm just going to check what gold's at right now, just because I'm kind of curious.
So gold is currently running on the $10,000 ladder,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah, it's still in the okay, yeah.
it's
2033 right now.
2033.
Yeah, so it hasn't. Okay.
So technically, when gold hits like gold right now is topped out on this sort of run, right? Like 24. Like, I don't look at gold often, so I don't see the history of like where it was at, but gold is on an accelerated move up.
So by your philosophy here, if gold follows the ladder, which you haven't looked into, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if it does, somewhere around 2,400, it should have a pullback.
Well, yeah.
Back to what, like 1917, 15?
Yeah, 1917.
Okay.
Right, and then I would say like the 68, the 77, the 17,000, and the 68 point is a good mark for it to hit.
Okay.
But like, so gold, like, is gold up here? I probably have gold, but I don't know.
I don't know. And I mean, only time will tell if it tracks like gold, but it feels like it should.
Well, I think it would. I think eventually it's going to be just the base price of the commodity will be set, and then inflation, it will continue.
Then inflation will dictate future value, because it'll take more dollars to buy the same quantity. Yeah, it makes sense. I think Bitcoin will do better than gold, because we are still discovering new gold.
Right.
But once you're done with Bitcoin, there's no more Bitcoin.
Scarcity will come into play.
Yeah. So interesting.
So I mean, here's this. This is the history of. I don't know how far does gold go back, but I mean, we are definitely here. Here it peaked and hit 2,000 before. So
I remember that.
This is not. See, look, this is the 19. See how this fell shy of
Mm-hmm.
100,
Yep.
or it fell shy of the breakthrough. So when I say it's always consistent. Right, so now this pullback, now it's busting up through, so it's now going to start to climb. So gold probably will go. It probably will do like 24, 29, 32, 44, like could go to 4,400.
Okay.
Right, if it's going to run the ladder, then that will be
Interesting.
What's the orange line?
That's
orange
Bitcoin.
line is Bitcoin.
That's Bitcoin.
That's Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Bitcoin is being compared on all the charts because I have a setting over here. So at any rate, do you have the link with the sheet? We get into the tokens.
Yeah, so I did pull up your link. You mean your Google Sheet? You have to sign into Sheets.
Okay.
It's the first tab there.
So why don't you switch it off of this? You don't want to.
If you hit hit the insert button on the keyboard, yeah.
He's got it. It's good. Okay, so I mean, I don't know. I hope people listening to this are in some way, shape, or form invested in crypto. Did you ever get into Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, I was in Bitcoin earlier, and then I've just slowly bought back in when.
So you have been buying back in?
Yeah, I stopped for a little bit here these last few months, but because I was putting my money elsewhere. But I was an early believer in Bitcoin.
Well, I know you've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you. I know you had sold out. I didn't know if you had gotten back in or
I
not.
slowly did. I didn't drop a ton of money, but I'll throw 100 here, 100 there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like just slow play.
Yep, no, that's okay. That's the way everybody should be doing that.
I was putting more of my money into different coins back. I think the first time Bitcoin peaked at like 20. I was running after other coins at that point.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
this will get the conversation going. So one of the big things that
If you could move that over to the other screen, I can't see if we're recording or not.
we're recording.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to be able to see.
It's easier for me to log in here like this. My question for you guys is,
Dude, why are your eyes so old all the time? Why don't we get you some like librarian glasses? Yeah. Oh, with beads.
So
You got like a librarian beads? Yeah, that'd be nice. You'd look good.
My question is how is like shared computing going to work, and what kind of risks are there? Because this is becoming a big thing where, like right now there are a lot of projects where it's shared computing. Like if you're not using your computer resources, you can share that. If you're not using all your internet sources, you can share that. Storage, right, where everybody's going to be running nodes, and these nodes are essentially going to be how we function now, as opposed to you having your personal computer at your house where you store your information. It's all going to be cloud based. How do we get to a point where that's actually safe? I guess our information is in Google and it's in Microsoft and it's already.
Most people are cloud-based. Very few people are storing their own data now. I mean, people are, but it's not recommended. They haven't really increased personal computer storage drives in size for years because there's no need. I mean, you're storing everything online. So we're there in that respect from a sharing your personal computer like letting people in to use your resources. I would tell you right now, in my opinion, as a cybersecurity expert, that will never be safe.
Yeah,
There's no way to make that safe. You can make it a little bit safer. Like you can build systems to try to firewall off your particular user profile, but once you're giving access to your system, you're one bad actor's good idea away from losing it. I would tell you right now, I would never allow it on one of my computers. I would never allow it on a network that I control, and I would never allow it on a network that I consult on, period. Now, that said, would I think it's fine? I don't know. Where it might be viable is if they start applying that to IoT devices, like maybe if you're not using your TV, or something like that. But again, I don't know why you would want to do it.
Yeah.
Like the benefits are limited in my opinion. Like the only thing I could possibly see is you're getting payouts, and you're allowing computational devices on your network to run to get you altcoins.
Correct. I mean,
Which-
that's essentially what it's going to.
But in that case, you don't even want to have the people that are able to use your devices even on your network. Now, the way they're going to set it up is going to be one directional, where you can deploy a software that's theoretically clean with no backdoors, and then that software does computational work and submits it to an outside source. If you've got a trustworthy developer with trustworthy software, yeah. I mean, it could work. I mean, I mined for years. I mean, essentially, I was running third-party software on my devices that was mining cryptocurrencies. But I will say, I put my miners on a separate network.
Say you're going to need a certain level of what's the right word, scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean, I isolated mine. I don't know.
Like your like mining system, it's tied into the internet, correct?
It's on the internet, but it has no access to my other systems.
And so what helps, like what kind of security do you run on that? Like what keeps that secure?
Nothing. I don't run anything on it because it's completely isolated. It's running on its own network connected to the internet.
But could it not be hacked?
And when I get payouts, it doesn't drop it into my miner. It drops it into a third-party wallet address that is not installed on the miners. So could it get hacked? Yeah. But
it's isolated.
But it's so isolated that if I found out that it was getting hacked, which I'd realize pretty darn quick because my payouts would start dropping, if I found out, I could just reset up the computer from an image and just figure out how it got hacked and block that source and just move on with my day. So I have it so isolated, you can't expand that hack into the rest of my life. But once you start allowing them to use the secondary processing capacity on your laptop when you are not using it, you're letting them into your life. You're letting them onto your computer.
Yeah, there's no way.
No, I mean that's a totally different conversation. I mean mine was set with security first. That's security last.
So how I didn't think that you could have you drop the miners into a third party source.
Now you can drop your payouts into whatever you want. So and on some of my newer mine, I don't mine anymore. I used to mine, but on my most recent mining operations prior to shutting everything down, I was writing my own software because I didn't want third party software on my miners. So I wrote my own mining software and was running my own basically interface.
That's the other thing. You have to have a level of scrutiny just to trust the software you're running.
Just to know, yeah. Which most people have no idea.
It's a validated version and all that stuff.
And we know from experience, nobody's going to care. They're going to install whatever. Wait, if I install this, look at the. I mean, I remember I call this the old coupon printer theory.
Yeah.
Like every single housewife for a good 10 years installed every single coupon printer they could find, and just basically opened the door to every malware on earth, all to save 45 cents on a can of peas. Like
It didn't work anyways.
that didn't work anyways. Yeah. So you start telling them they can get cryptocurrencies. All they have to do is install this program. They'll do it. They'll do it in a heartbeat. They'll be like, yeah, okay, click. And then, it's people are not smart in that way.
Yeah, that'll get exploited so easily.
So easily. So, and they'll be surprised when they get hacked. Like
Why is all my stuff locked down and they're asking me for thousands of dollars to unlock everything?
the government needs to fix this.
Yeah.
Be like, no, you're an idiot. Like you need to stop being an idiot. So
did you guys see the little crypto miner that I sent you, where the dude had that little thing and he was like trying to mine an entire block?
all right, look,
And
man,
like
it's time for me to be honest with you. I haven't looked at anything you've sent me.
Really?
When did you send that?
I'm so sorry.
I
I feel bad.
I sent a link. It's like a little miner, like like this big,
Okay.
right? And all it does is he's trying to hack like one block. Like
Okay.
he mines like so if he mines, he'll get everything in that block.
He'll get the
I
whole
guess.
yeah. Which,
Right. So it's like, will he hit or will he not? But when he does, he'll get like an entire Bitcoin. Or I don't know how that works. I was just curious. I was hoping you guys would be able to tell me.
I got to be honest. At this point, that's not possible.
Yeah. I don't
There's so much computational requirement going into a single Bitcoin right now that, I mean, the payouts are 0.000001 Bitcoin. I mean, they're so small. And there's so many miners out there running at such a high terahash that a single computer, you could probably take IBM's Big Blue and it wouldn't be able to mine a single Bitcoin. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. But there's just way too many pools. There's way too many resources thrown at this. Especially a computer that big. What would that be, like a Raspberry Pi or an Atom computer or like a little Atom processor?
Yeah.
I don't see how that would even be possible. I mean, I've been wrong before. I don't know. Maybe the kid figured something out. So, what are we looking at here?
All right. So the tokens I put together, like that's what they are, like GPU processing sharing, right? So
You want to share your screen, Jimmy?
what's that?
Is this okay to share?
Yeah. Is it okay to share? I guess that's.
Yeah,
the
this
first
can be
question.
shared.
Okay. All right. So what we're looking at here for anybody listening is Jimmy's got a spreadsheet here of a lot of cryptos.
Yeah, so these are like most of the things that, like, these are what I'm following right now. So this company here, powering demand next gen AI, right? So this is like shared processing, I guess, node AI. And I guess this is where, like, for me, I just see this as huge risk. Like, now it's one thing if you get nodes are becoming real big where people just buy this little processor, I guess. They set this processor up, I guess, like a miner.
Kind of like a miner, yeah.
Right? But now these are becoming available. Now you can sell processing, right? So you can get this processor and then like it's big for gaming. Gaming is huge because now the processing is spread everywhere. The thing that, as I think more about this, what I find interesting is that, like, you know, we're exposed in this country to being hacked by whatever, if China is trying to hack into our systems. Well, if you get to a point where you're distributing your processing and your storage across an overall blockchain, well, you no longer have that risk anymore. Like, it's not like you can come and attack America's system anymore. Blockchain is like really interesting to me in this way.
It is. It is, but I mean, I guess it really depends on. I mean, blockchain is a great storage of data, but blockchain is not operational, at least in anything I've seen. Like, for example, the software that runs a power plant doesn't run on blockchain. Now, maybe the records of the information that it does and the access that people have and all the data components that go with that software, maybe they live on a blockchain, but the actual running in RAM active software that runs at a power plant, I don't know of any way to put that on a blockchain. It's got to be actively running. It can't go through a verification process every time a decision has to be made. So it doesn't stop hacking from being possible. I mean, what it stops is a lot of fraud type hacking, like home title fraud. Well, it's going to be impossible to hack somebody's home title if that transaction for that house is locked up in the blockchain. I mean, but it doesn't protect you from phishing. If you give somebody the password to your mortgage account and they transfer it on the blockchain is going to show that it's transferred. So yeah. I don't think it's this magic bullet that fixes all of our problems. We're still going to have issues. You're still going to have systems that need to be hardened and locked down so that you can't access real-time running data. And you're still going to have people and systems that will abuse it. And I don't think blockchain can fix that. I think what it will do is take away some of the avenues. It'll really harden things. Like, there will be things that happen now that won't be able to happen if you have your data on the blockchain.
Well, if you distributed your data there is a project that's attempting to do exactly what you just described.
So real-time computing on the blockchain?
Yeah, internet computer. This is what this company is trying to do.
Okay.
And supposedly they've figured it out. So this is a whole operational system on the blockchain. Now, I don't know how, I was hoping you guys would have looked at this one, but I think that somewhere down the road, if we all do some research on this, because I would love to understand what they're doing and how they're accomplishing this, but that's apparently what.
I will definitely dig into this. Scroll down a little bit. So the ICP token, huh? Is that what this is called?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have not heard of this. So, but it's got to be something different than traditional blockchain, because nothing on the traditional blockchain concept would do what you're talking about.
Now, I added this last minute because I've been following this project, but it's very complicated, and sometimes I just don't have time to really but there's a lot of sophistication with this that probably you guys will know what more of this stuff is.
Well, then why don't we do this? Why don't we wrap up here?
So,
and
we can look at this even at midtime.
And we'll come back in the next episode, and hopefully between now and the next episode, we get a chance to do a little bit of research and hopefully get some details out here so people aren't like, what are these idiots talking about?
So
is there anything before we wrap up this episode? Is there anything you want to talk about pricing wise? Because I know we kind of spent most of this episode on pricing and valuation and everything else. Is there anything you didn't bring up that you want to on Bitcoin pricing or the future pricing of cryptos or anything like that before we get into individual projects.
Yeah, no, what I was going to do is I just really was going to talk about like the different categories that I think are like popular for that are seem to be the like the conversation for this like run coming up.
Okay.
Which is AI driven.
Well, then let's do this.
Tokens,
Let's break here.
And
What's that last
real
one?
world assets how they're trying to integrate real world assets into the blockchain and building tokens for stuff like that. So there's a couple key categories that are big for this cycle right now.
Well, then let's take a break right now. This is a good breaking point, and not a break. We'll end the show here, and then next episode, we're going to dive into all this. The entire episode talking about these projects you have up on the screen right now. Does that work for you?
Sounds good.
All right. Why don't you flip back over to us? And Tyler, you got any parting words?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll have you run the board again next time so you can take us through your projects. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully you learned something about the valuation coming. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to be buying more Bitcoin. Thank you all. We'll see you next week. Have a great night.
Take it easy.
The Broken Agenda Podcast. Sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.